characterize this man gets. Whatever you think about him, he said repeatedly when asked, he'll use the pronoun he, she. Like, back then, it was very obvious that he was transphobic, but people just refused to recognize that he was, and people were going crazy over it. Like, they anytime anyone said anything like this, they would get absolutely ripped up to shreds.
Yeah. Name is Hassan. It's funded by Gulf dictators, hundreds of millions.
Sarcastically titled, Jordan Peterson is not a conservative transphobe. And this video came out 4 years ago. Well, even more than that. But yeah, okay. It was almost 5 years ago. December 30th, 2018. I wrote this video and I made this video. It has 2.9 thousand likes, 146,000 views. I can't see the dislikes now, but I'm pretty sure that the dislikes greatly outnumber.
RIP to the dislike button.
Yeah.
Fuck the dislike.
And oh yeah, see someone Fizz in the chat says 6.1K dislikes. If we look at it, if we look at the comments, and these are 1 month ago, obviously, which is why they're going to be greatly different. But if you look at the top comments, okay, from I love to see the intellectuals come out in the TYT comment section. I said 4 years ago. It's amazing how mischaracterized this man gets. Whatever you think about him, he said repeatedly when asked, he'll use the pronoun he, she. Like, back then, it was very obvious that he was transphobic, but people just refused to recognize that he was, and people were going crazy over it. Like, they anytime anyone said anything like this, they would get absolutely ripped up to shreds. Yeah. And the reason why I'm showing this is not to be like, look how right I was even 5 years ago.
It is funny to see how Peterson has completely validated every unfair attack that the left has made about him in the last like year, and all his fans just went quiet. Like, nobody's came forward and been like,
yeah. But even then, this is 5 years ago, and he was still like, you know, this is him.
He's a ridiculous person.
This is him at like a Turning Point USA conference. You know what I mean? Where he was like a keynote speaker, and people were still refusing to recognize that. And it just like, it sucked because back then everyone was always like, oh, you're a piece of shit. You're a soy libtard. You're attacking this like profoundly beautiful centrist mind who only has the best intentions and like wants what's best for society. He's an intellectual. Who the fuck are you? And then I didn't have a base of support, but now I do. Yeah. Some of which who used to be fans of Jordan Peterson. So that's what keeps me going. That, and also the top of the hour ad breaks, which I forgot to run. If you no longer want to see those ads, you can subscribe for $5 or free with Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted sub. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Okay, let's continue.
Cool. Do we keep talking?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, because most people are subscribers anyway, so they don't really, you know.
So I want to spin back to LA being trash, except for one thing that is going to segue into something I really want to talk about.
This sucks because you're only seeing the worst. Like, LA is only good when the weather is
the sun, though.
Yeah, LA's only good when the weather's good, and LA's weather's been this year, like insane. It's like Seattle.
Yeah, I left the South, right? And we got on a plane, a 4-hour ride with a 7 and a 10-year-old, and we made it. And we wake up the next morning, and I'm like, why hasn't the sun gotten here? This is I came here
I have a gift for your kids, by the way. I don't know if you'll appreciate it or take them.
As long as it's not some of this nicotine gum. We don't have to talk about that.
No, it's it might be worse. I don't know what your perspective is, but it's Mr. Beast.
Oh God.
He always we're managed by the same management company, and they always send me like his new shit. So I have like boxes of Nerf guns, Mr. Beast branded Nerf guns, and boxes of Feastables chocolate.
I'm going to drag you as soon as I leave for doing this to me.
I'm just saying. Well, now that it's on camera, now that they know that I offered it, you will be the bad guy.
I'm not allowing them to watch it. I have not allowed them to watch anything I do, partially because I have a weird thing with like YouTube with my kids because of like let me not throw too much shade at Mr. Beast because Mr. Beast is also like Nebula Gang to an extent.
The reason why I let it kind of like brush past me is because when I started this at the Young Turks, one, I was working under someone, so I had like no control over my life, no control over my content, no control over my IP. But I also only got negative feedback because TYT was already well hated, like 2014, 2015 Gamergate era. And I saw the entire space is occupied by neck-bearded losers who were reactionaries. And I never really thought I would get to this level of success that I got to. I never thought that I would see massive content creators openly, advocating for progressive policies and whatnot. Most of the time, progressive content creators, I think, in the early age of the, Gamergate era,
They were getting murdered out here.
They were not openly talking about their politics. Even if they were progressive in their personal lives, they kind of just like didn't really say anything. A lot of big progressive content creators still don't actually get into politics all too much, regardless. But the environment was certainly almost entirely hostile, with very little counter to that. And then like BreadTube came around, and all of these communities started growing online as a counter to all of that movement. So now having someone like myself be one of the largest Twitch streamers on the planet who exclusively talks about politics from a like straight up as leftist as you can get perspective,
Right.
I never take it for granted. I always have that to fall back on, where I think to myself like, well, I do have a massive community no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so like that's interesting. So as I'm sitting here, I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, but like literally I cannot process.
No, it's better that you don't. Trust me. It's literally better that you don't, because.
But this is like the Force or some shit. This is a powerful thing to have access to, even as it sometimes seeks to destroy you. Because I think about like a Cat Black who was like making content at that time, who was getting murdered even as BreadTube was growing. It wasn't like growing around her. And I don't remember the sister's name. She did like, you remember these old videos like White People Be Like? She was a dark-skinned sister. She had like at the time she had a big like curly afro. I can't remember her name. But like for them, like they're out of here. You know what I mean? Because of that same thing you're talking about. And so like
Francesca Ramsey.
Thank you. Francesca Lay. She's still making, she just popped back up on TikTok. And that's her. And when iDubbbz said his boy, let me rephrase it. When iDubbbz said his apology and other people were like, iDubbbz don't apologize, she made a point to talk about how like y'all don't understand what their standpoint was like at the time. I don't know if she's so 4 years.
Yeah, that space was so awful. Like I mean, I was in, and obviously like I'm not
I wasn't even there. Like I was.
Yeah, I mean,
was still watching. Nostalgia Critic.
a lot of people had a personal journey as like they also got sucked into that space, and then they escaped it or moved on from it or demonstrated personal growth.